on to number 4, Dream Master. Dream Master kind of is a sort of direct follow-up to Dream Warriors. We do get the return of basically what's left of the Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Kate, Joey, and Kristen.
Unfortunately, most of them are axed, including the main character of the last movie. But we're introduced to Alice, which is she's kind of pulled in accidentally to Kristen's dream, and she kind of becomes the new Dream Master. And we have a new group of friends.
Yeah.
John, if you want to get into those characters.
Yeah, like for me, like I'm mixed on this one. It's like I like parts of it, and other parts I didn't like. Like I didn't like they killed off Joey Kincaid. I didn't care for Tuesday Night replacing Patricia Arquette as Kristen. The chemistry was just not there between the two. She felt like a different character.
Right. And there was an actress change. It wasn't the same actress.
It wasn't.
From the third movie.
Right. Because also at this point, the characters are just like cliche. They're not like interesting or likable.
I have to disagree. I mean, they're not on the level of Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a little development.
Somewhat, but I guess I'm just not like drawn to them. Like I wasn't.
Not everybody lands. Not characters land. The gym chick is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I do like that.
No pain, no gain.
Yes, I do like that Freddy Krueger kind of plays on her bug.
Yeah.
By literally turning her into a bug, and like I said, the
cockroach
and this are great.
Yeah, in some ways it was like a parody of The Fly, and also like something out of like a 50s B movie to some
degree. We do get, I can't stress enough, we do get more lore on Freddy.
Yeah, a little bit.
More into his, not necessarily his childhood, but sort of, how he came to be, son of 100 maniacs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And why, and basically that he gets stronger by collecting the souls of children. Once he's killed, we're shown that, that he literally absorbed them into his body.
Right.
And with Alice now having the powers of Kristen.
I like that's the one. That's the one pause I will say. Alice was probably the one good part in this film. How like she's a shy girl, no self-esteem. Her father's abusive and mean and alcoholic. And then as the film goes on, she develops better posture and more confidence.
Yeah, over time, through the death of her friends, unfortunately, she absorbs their personalities and powers.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool thing.
It was.
I thought that was a really cool thing. And, of course, it probably has one of the best set pieces for the Nightmare on Elm Street series, where they have a battle in a church, and one of my favorite Freddy deaths, where all the souls come out and they rip him apart, and it's got some great moments. It really does.
Yeah.
But I think it's not the best follow-up.
No.
Flawed, but I think it's serviceable follow-up.
Yeah, it's like, again, like same with part 2. When I first saw it, I didn't like this. It's like I'm mixed about it. I don't hate or love it.
That's okay. I like it just fine.
Yeah.
5 I'm kind of mixed, but we'll get to it.
Right. We will. And what did you think of the part when he kills the girl who had asthma death scene?
Yeah, well, that ties into the whole dark humor thing with Freddy.
Right.
There's an element of dark humor, and I always felt bad for them.
Right. Yeah. Same.
And like I said, I apologize if I don't remember everybody's character name.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ground to cover, so we'll just kind of
right.
For me,
also,
kind of talk about
a little advice to anyone who goes to the gym: if you're in the gym, don't ask Freddy Krueger to spot you.
No, he is a terrible father.
I just had to say that.
As people know in this movie, he is a terrible father and a terrible spotter.
Right. Right. And have you heard the rap song by the Fat Boys?
I have. and it's funny. It's goofy. It's funny, and
I'm sure.
At the time, Freddy was still in the mainstream. He was still very much popular, and it's okay. It's cute.
Right. Also, this movie has been described as the MTV movie of Nightmare on Elm Street because it feels like a music video in certain
karate training. And it's still very much coming off of Dream Warriors, which is kind of the launch of that. Was kind of the symbiosis of MTV meets Freddy.
Right.
At this time, Robert Englund was doing guest spots as the character and everything.
Right.
He was everywhere.
Right.
They had a 100 number where you can call Freddy and back in the day, stuff like that. So yeah, he was everywhere.
Right. Basically, at this point, Freddy's not even scary anymore. He's just goofy comedy and one-liners and puns. This was
the movie where Freddy was the man. He was everywhere, and people loved him. Still love him.
And I don't know if anyone would know this. Around this time when this one came out, this came out the same year as a Friday movie and this is the only time in the 80s where a Halloween film came out. A Friday the 13th movie sequel came out the same year with Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Right.
Yeah. The big three horror slasher franchise of the 80s.
Right. Exactly. And for the longest time, they wanted to do a versus. I remember, I think there's interviews of them back in the 80s talking about this.
Yes, that's where the idea of Freddy versus Jason was first thought of and developed in the 80s, but for the time, it was the rights issues because Freddy was owned by New Line and Jason was owned by Paramount. They didn't have the right, they just could not come up with an agreement at the time.
When we get to Freddy and Jason,
we'll say that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Not to jump
No, that's okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep things on track here.
Right, and also I want to say too how that this film was directed by Rennie Harlin, who would later go on to direct Die Hard 2. And what's interesting is how when he got the job to making this film, he was flat out broke. And when he got the job, when he made this film, Robert Shea, he didn't get along with Robert Shea, the producer of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and he was literally behind his back a lot about how with a lot of interference of how he was it's like he was pointing a gun. It's like he was pointing a gun behind his head. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Right. Very kind of controlling. I actually didn't know about that, but
Yeah. Well, especially I'm familiar with Rennie Harlin. He's done a lot of good films since after this film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Oh yeah. Apparently Joey's kryptonite again. He fell for it with Freddy.
Oh, women.
Yeah, with women. He thought there was a hot chick under his water bed, but
yeah, and a little Easter egg for music fans: the song that was played. I don't remember the song that was played, but I do know the artist. The artist is Billy Idol.
Right.
For all you Billy Idol fans, there is a Billy Idol song in that scene. So,
right.
When Freddy is telling Joey, "How's this for a wet dream?" Yeah. But anyway, with that said, that's all my thoughts on it.
Right. And when you look at the dream sequences, the set design, they were basically inspired from a Japanese horror film called Chinese Ghost Story.
Right, and there's great scenes where Alice goes into the movie theater.
Yes.
Right. Yes. I want to make sure I'm not confusing 4 and 5 because they're kind of they continue that. But there's a scene where she literally goes into the movie, and that's where Freddy kind of taunts her.
Right. Hence Alice
on pizza.
Right. Right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that scene. You're right. Yeah. And I'm Italian. I love pizza.
Yeah. Kind of makes you want to eat pizza, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that can happen sometimes when you watch a film. You're like, oh, now I'm in the mood for a cookie or a pizza or a burger.
Pizza, yeah, especially 80s movies. And I feel like we could be having a pizza with an old school Pepsi or Coke.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by either. No. Okay. We're not sponsored. I wish we were, but
Yeah. Do you remember the part when she's like Freddy's like tricking Alice and the guy that she likes, where it's like a like Groundhog Day type of moment when they're trying to save somebody's life, but Freddy keeps like recycling time.
Have we done this before? That kind of thing.
When I first saw that scene, I'm like, wait a second, didn't I see this? Like at first I thought there was something wrong with my disc, but no, it was Freddy recycling.
I'm sure there was a lot of people that probably were trying to figure out what was wrong with their Laserdisc or
VHS tape.
And be like, did I see this before? What the heck?
Right.
Anyway, but yeah. Do you want to move on to 5? Is there anything?
Yeah, I guess we've summed up everything.